All right, we're back. I am at a different setup right now, so my audio might be messed up, and also we're doing this kind of off the cuff. But today I want to talk about 5 underrated Mega Pokemon in Pokemon Champions. This could have been a main channel video, but I think that I want to save like my full opinions on that for after the Champions Cup tournament. But yeah, by the way, guys, for those of you unfamiliar with pre-Champions era competitive Pokemon, this is Pokemon Showdown. We're going to be using that to do a lot of the visuals, but I will be referring to the usage stats throughout the entirety of this video. At least I think I will. But yeah, I just want to talk about 5 underrated Mega Pokemon I think you should be checking out and how they kind of play into the current metagame. But let's go ahead and begin. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications. Sorry, I'm visiting my girlfriend's family this weekend, so I'm not at home. But yeah, let's begin. All right, so the first one, I'm spoiling the whole list for you guys. The first one is Mega Blastoise. Mega Blastoise is a Pokemon which has broadly seen not a ton of competitive success, with I think its best year being VGC 2018. However, it is uniquely equipped to play super well in Pokemon Champions. These are just 4 moves that it has, but I think that one of the best things it has going for it is Fake Out with Tailwind support. It is its own Fake Out user. So you're able to lead off with Mega Blastoise, go for Fake Out, get a Tailwind off with a partner Pelipper. This thing almost certainly wants to pair with Pelipper. However, we have seen MDB actually recently. You know, if you don't know who MDB is, regional champion, also got second at Worlds. Pair it with Farigiraf. Now, there's a few ways to play it. I want to talk about the Tailwind variant first, but you can give this thing just like 9 speed investment to hit 107, meaning you outspeed Pokemon like Dragapult under Tailwind. You're able to go for Fake Out, Tailwind with Pelipper, and then spam Water Spout, which is actually a pretty powerful move under Tailwind and Rain. As you can see, into a King Gambit, it is a roll to one-shot. That being said, you don't actually need that move to one-shot King Gambit. You can actually go ahead and run Aura Sphere, and because that move is boosted by Mega Launcher, its ability, which gives all ballistic moves, I believe, I forget, like pulse moves, that's the term. It gives all pulse moves a 50% increase in power. It means that your Aura Sphere will one-shot King Gambit, and also notably, even Archaludon, which is a Pokemon a lot of people don't want to have to deal with. Max HP Archaludon with a little bit of special defense investment. Aura Sphere is doing 108% minimum to that, so they actually have to invest a ton to live this. Keep in mind you are slower than the average Archaludon, but if you have Tailwind support or if you play under Trick Room, then yeah. So yeah, if they, in order to guarantee live this hit, they do have to invest at least 27 special defense with a Modest Nature. And if they're not Modest Nature, I think that they're running a pretty bad Archaludon. Even if you go like a plus special defense nature, like at that point you're missing out on a ton of damage. I do like Timid from time to time, which is a problem for some Pokemon, but I think Modest is overall the best way to run it in this current format. But yeah, you can see that they do need 27 investment with max HP to live this hit. But even into like, I do want to talk about like broadly useful Pokemon in this metagame. Besides Archaludon, Basculegion is a Pokemon who hits really hard in this game, right? Like as you can see, Wave Crash in Rain to Mega Blastoise is something that Blastoise can pretty easily tank with just a bit of HP investment, 25. I say a bit like it's not a lot, but I mean a bit like it is a lot. You can see that it's going to be able to tank that Adamant Wave Crash with adaptability in Rain, and you're able to launch back a Dark Pulse, which is a roll to one-shot if they have 2 HP investment. But if they're Wave Crashing you, and if they're a Basculegion, at that point they'll probably have taken a lot of recoil anyways. And Blastoise's natural bulk, its 79 HP combined with its 120 defense, does mean that it can actually eat pretty powerful last respects. As you can see, if the Basculegion has lost 2 partner Pokemon, last respects is still not KOing. It's 96%, meaning that like literally if I guess if the Basculegion is one of the last 2 Pokemon on the field, at that point you will have to prioritize it, because if it is the final Pokemon on the field, it will KO you 3 times effect, 108% minimum. But yeah, if you are in this position versus Basculegion, you have a higher chance of KOing it than it has to KO you. And yeah, into just neutral targets with the Water Spout, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage. I'm trying to think like of a good example for a neutral target for Water Spout in the current metagame. Let's go ahead and refer to just the usage stats right now so I can think of that, because I'm blanking right now. Yeah, I guess we can check out Floette, we can check out King Gambit, Garchomp, Sneasler. Sneasler, I know it's one-shotting if it's KOing King Gambit. Tyranitar does pretty well into... yeah, a lot of Pokemon do resist water in this metagame, but like you have to keep in mind that what keeps Blastoise broadly relevant is not only like its stab Water Spout, but its access to its coverage moves like Dark Pulse, like Aura Sphere. So let's go ahead and do a quick calc into Garchomp, because I am really curious. I'd like to imagine Garchomp has a chance to live this, but I don't know if it's guaranteed. And also keep in mind that Garchomp cannot tank an Ice Beam from this thing. Yeah, Water Spout is doing 99% to 2 HP Garchomp. So that's actually really good. You know, modest max investment Water Spout with Tailwind is awesome. And yeah, you can also run the Trick Room variant. I did mention this at the start of the video. If you decide to go with a Farigiraf, Farigiraf can underspeed your Blastoise, and you can run like a minimum speed Blastoise too. Blastoise is not the fastest Pokemon in the metagame, so you can Trick Room up and then go for Rain Dance, and then from that point on, if you want to go for Helping Hand, this is an option, and Hyper Voice, I guess, is like a good final move. Yeah, being able to Helping Hand under Trick Room and Rain means that this Water Spout's going to be KOing even more Pokemon, and at that point, they can't Fake Out you because Armor Tail from the Farigiraf is going to be protecting you. You can see this Helping Hand is doing 150% minimum to the Garchomp. We can even calc this versus Charizard. I guess Charizard and Sun, it's always going to KO, but I'm really curious, how much does Venusaur take? Like, a fast Venusaur, is it going to get one-shot by Helping Hand Water Spout under Rain? Not quite, but once again, you do have access to, like, Ice Beam and stuff, which is really strong. But, yeah, Blastoise is a pretty decent Pokemon under Trick Room. I think it is a Pokemon that can be explored a little bit more. And it's a Pokemon I think it can get results. I don't think it's, like, a top-tier Mega, but it is something pretty cool right now if you want to look into, like, an alternative Water type for your team. This channel is partnered with Gamersubs. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order Gamersubs through my link in the description down below, or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. Gamersubs is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18+ viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video. Next up, Mega Crabominable. This thing's terrifying, man. Like, have you ever looked at Mega Crabominable? Even design-wise, like, it's terrifying, but as far as gameplay, you can see that bulky Trick Room Crabominable. This is the calc that I want to show you guys. Sneasler, offensive White Herb, Jolly, close combat into Mega Crabominable with 13 defense investment. We can turn that down even, right? Well, actually, let's check Adamant. Jolly close combat, you live, right? Adamant close combat. You can actually decrease your special defense, increase your physical defense. You need 18? What is it? You need 19. If you go with a stat spread of 32 HP, 13 attack, which hits the bump, 19 defense, and 2 special defense, you eat close combat from Sneasler, meaning that they can't just survive on Sash and beat you because Mach Punch is absurd. But yeah, this thing has a stupid attack stat. It's an ice fighting type, meaning it hits most things in the game for super effective damage. It's going to be one-shotting Garchomp. It's going to be doing all that. We don't really need to look at that. What I do want to show you are the neutral Ice Hammer calcs. Are you ready for this? You want to see how much an Ice Hammer does to a Floette? I'll give you a hint. It does not live. Floette Eternal, Mega Floette, Ice Hammer, 111%. But this is the fun part. The thing about Mega Crabominable that is really good is the fact that Drain Punch, if they're not running like a ton of defense investment, if they're one of those people who runs like 32 HP, 1 defense Incineroar, your Drain Punch at -1 has a 68% chance to one-shot. That means that there is basically no need for close combat, and you're going to be able to pretty reliably recover health and deal with Incineroar with a single move. This is also a great answer to King Gambit, and on Trick Room leads into King Gambit, if you do see that Pokemon and you have a Trick Room setter next to you that is weak to it, such as Sinistcha, you're able to go for Mach Punches. A Mach Punch from a 13 attack investment Iron Fist boosted Mega Crabominable into King Gambit is a guaranteed one-shot. Oh wait, sorry, that's with a Helping Hand. Oh my god, my calc was wrong for the Ice Hammer too then. Sorry. But yeah, 13 attack investment Mega Crabominable. Your Mach Punch is doing like 94%. My bad. I completely messed up the calc. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I checked this earlier. But it is like reasonable damage. You're able to get like huge damage off on like Pokemon that even resist it. Sneasler, if you get it in range, if like your initial attack does not KO it, Ice Hammer does one-shot Sneasler, but if your initial attack does not KO it, you can get it down in range to like 20%, and then Mach Punch will pick up. You don't even need Trick Room to do that. But let's go ahead and look at Floette again, because I was pretty sure that most Floette get one-shot. 26 to modest. All right, Ice Hammer is not a one-shot, which is kind of nuts, actually. I thought that'd be a one-shot. But if you do want to go like max attack investment, you get even closer. Floette also doesn't always run bulky. Some Floette are actually quite fast. A lot of them are bulky, though. 26 HP is actually a pretty reasonable amount. But if they're like the 2 HP fast Floette and your max attack investment, your Iron Fist boosted Ice Hammer is going to be doing quite a bit. And once again, if you do want to play it aggressively on lead, you can go for Ice Hammer into Pokemon, set up the Trick Room with the Mon next to it, and then like just pick up the KO the next turn anyways. It is kind of nuts. And like even if Trick Room has ended, even if you're playing outside of Trick Room, if things are in Mach Punch range, you're good. This Mon is also stupidly bulky. As you can see, max investment Dazzling Gleam is only doing 92% to it, and that's kind of nuts. A lot of people expect just super effective Dazzling Gleam from Fairy or boosted Mega Floette to one-shot Pokemon that are weak to it. That isn't necessarily the case, especially in Crabominable, especially in Crabominable's case, because it has 97 HP and 107 defense. So it is kind of a nuts Pokemon. I don't think it's like the greatest Pokemon of the game, but I do think that is like severely underrated right now. Its matchups into lots of common Pokemon are quite good. Let's look at usage stats to reflect that actually. As you can see, number 1 in format, we saw that it can take on Sneasler even outside of Trick Room. That is an option. You can just go for Ice Hammer into Mach Punch and you will always get that KO if you're invested to live close combat. Incineroar it deals with, Garchomp it deals with, King Gambit it deals with. Like, these are all Pokemon at one-shot. Sneasler technically can one-shot if it's not holding Sash. Sinistcha can one-shot. Basculegion is the most questionable of these matchups because they can just one-shot, or they can just one-shot you before you attack with Wave Crash in Rain. You deal with Aerodactyl. You do not care about Dual Wing Beat. You take neutral damage from Rock Slide, but your Ice Hammer will KO it. And I'm actually really curious how much you're doing to Zard Y. I do want to check that. Let's look at that. So Charizard Y into Crabominable. This is a neutral hit, but Charizard Y does not run any bulk whatsoever, really. Well, I guess they do run bulk for Rock Slide on some sets, but as you can see, Ice Hammer, yeah, Ice Hammer just in Trick Room is a one-shot on Zard Y. So the major downside to Mega Crabominable, I do have to say, is the fact that Ice Hammer can miss. It is a 90 accuracy move, but it is super, super strong. It is a ridiculous Pokemon in some situations. But yeah, Mega Crabominable definitely on the list. Next up, I want to talk about Mega Scovillain. Now, I do want to say I've been a Scovillain believer for a little bit now. I was a huge doubter at the start, but Edu and Pokeaim dropped a team the other week that I used on this channel. It's about a week ago I made my Mega Scovillain video. This Scovillain is ridiculous, and you only need to look at the metagame to figure out why. Something I have talked about in this metagame quite a bit is the severe lack of special attackers with spread moves. There's only a few of them in the game, but the majority of this meta is physical attackers. Sneasler, Incineroar, Garchomp, King Gambit, Basculegion, Aerodactyl. Here's a couple special attackers, but Tyranitar, Dragonite. You can see like the top usage Pokemon are basically all physical attackers with special attackers sprinkled in at like lower usage rates. And that's because there's not a lot of like spread special attackers that are really strong. But the thing is, Mega Scovillain's ability simply causes it to burn any Pokemon who attacks it, whether it is a physical move, a special move, a contact move, anything, right? If Sneasler fakes out Mega Scovillain, Sneasler gets burned. You do not want that. So Sneasler will often ignore Mega Scovillain on lead because a burned Sneasler ends up being pretty useless in the endgame. This allows for Mega Scovillain with its pretty high special attack set of 138 to throw out its Flamethrower and deal massive damage to this Pokemon, to go for Giga Drain into Pokemon like Tyranitar, who wouldn't dare touch it because Tyranitar does not want to get burned, into Garchomp. Its Giga Drain actually does pretty respectable damage. Let's open up the damage calc and show you guys that. Pokemon Showdown, damage calc. Let's go to Scovillain. We'll go to Edu, support Trick Room Scovillain, into a Garchomp. Scarf offense, why not? You can see that Dragon Claw is doing 49%. That is guaranteed to hit KO. However, after it gets burned, because it will get burned for attacking this Pokemon, even if it goes for Rock Slide, it's going to get burned. That's just how the ability works. It's going to be dealing, at most, 24% with Dragon Claw. Its Rock Slide dealing 23%. It's taking chip damage. Scovillain can do 34% to 41% with Giga Drain to Garchomp with a neutral hit because of its naturally high 138 special attack. It doesn't need a lot of investment. But just being able to wall out Garchomp and deal that damage and be a nuisance is stupid. We can look at Sneasler. Sneasler has a super effective attack into Scovillain. Adamant Dire Claw, 99% maximum. In exchange for dealing damage to Scovillain, they're going to get burned. And then you protect on them. You can do whatever you want. And the big thing with Scovillain is the way that you play this thing is you put Scovillain on a team, and it is not the main damage dealer, but Scovillain supports broken Pokemon. You surround Scovillain with Pokemon like Kingambit, like Garchomp, like Dragonite, these Pokemon that might as well be Mega Pokemon in the current format, and you use Mega Scovillain as a way to support them as they set up and go for major damage. I think Kingambit is one of the best Scovillain partners, but I also think Dragonite is really insane next to Scovillain because Scale Shot is just a really crazy move right now. Even though Scale Shot can miss, even though it doesn't have the loaded dice, being able to outspeed the entire format and go for a second Scale Shot because you have multi-scale, because you live at full health, like even though you have like that decreased defense, means that you're just able to do whatever you want. And coaching support next to that thing is also really good. Mega Scovillain is like the ultimate support mega in this metagame, I think. A lot of people really underrated it. I definitely did, but like that's because in the past, support megas have not been strong. They've just been really passive and useless. But yeah, this thing is actually, he's kind of him. He's kind of him. Next up is Mega Venusaur, and I actually don't even have any calcs for Mega Venusaur, but the amount of times I have been walled by a Mega Venusaur is infuriating. This thing has 80 HP, 123 defense, 120 special defense, and even 122 special attack. But what really puts it over the edge is that ability in Thick Fat. This thing is only weak to, after Thick Fat, right? Because it gets rid of it halves the damage from fire and ice moves. It is effectively only weak to flying and psychic moves. There are hardly any psychic type attackers in this metagame, and there's hardly any flying type attackers. It's basically just Aerodactyl and, is that it? Is it basically just Aerodactyl and like Talonflame, and they don't even hit that hard? Let's look. How many relevant flying types are in this game? We have Aerodactyl. Charizard doesn't run flying moves usually. I can actually show you that real quick. Yeah, Air Slash is only on 27% of Charizards. So it's not super common. You usually just want coverage. Or usually just want like fire over coverage, right? Pelipper is probably the most relevant attacker that can hit this thing for super effective damage, but its Hurricane is not one-shotting. Dragonite does not run flying moves. Corviknight sometimes runs Brave Bird. It's not the most common. Well, it is the most common move on it. That's crazy. I thought it would be Ironhead. But yeah, it does run Brave Bird. But once again, Corviknight doesn't have a huge attack stat. There are not a lot of Pokemon who hit it for super effective damage. I think Mega Delphox is like this thing's worst nightmare because, yes, Mega Delphox will hit you with a psychic move. Rare in this game. But yeah, Mega Venusaur is just a crazy Pokemon matchup-wise. I think it's a really good secondary Mega for a team. It's able to heal off a lot of damage with Giga Drain. It's able to wall out Basculegion really well. I can actually show you that at least. But if we go to Venusaur, Mega, Bulky Mega Offense, that's just 32 HP. You can see that like Dire Claw into it is doing like 40% maximum from Adamant. A lot of them are Jolly. And if you surround it with Intimidate support, it's going to not be taking too much damage from that sort of thing. Also, I don't think that max special attack is even the play. I think that like just hitting a bump is usually it. So like if you give it like any significant amount of defense investment, if you give it like 10, right? Then now Dire Claw like isn't even, you can turn Dire Claw into a 4-hit KO if you really wanted to. Yeah, that's a 4-hit KO already, right? 17% chance for a 3-hit KO. There you go, 4-hit KO, right? And that's like modest. You can go bold realistically with Mega Venusaur just because of how fat it is and how few things hit it for super effective damage. If you check out the Pokemon who hit it the hardest, we're gonna look at Pelipper and we're gonna look at what's it called? We'll go modest. Basculegion. Modest Hurricane from Pelipper with no special defense investment is doing 90%. You are hitting it back with a Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, or Earth Power for really significant damage. And that's with like no special attack investment. If you do go modest, right? If you do decide to go a little bit more offensive, like this one was 32-32, right? Your Leaf Storm's one-shotting it back. I think Giga Drain is the most like effective move on this sort of setup. Giga Drain, 66 to 78%. You heal 24 to 28% of your health. That's pretty good. The Hurricane, you know, is going to be doing a lot of damage to you, but like I said, you can surround this thing with a lot of support. You have Follow Me. You have like a lot of things that are really good into it. It's also a Pokemon that deals super well with Mega Floette because of its massive bulk. Mega Floette does not hit this thing super hard. As you can see, modest Moonblast with Fairy Aura with no special defense investment is only a 27% chance to 3-hit KO. You invest any amount of special defense into that thing, and suddenly the 3-hit KO goes out the window. It's a 4-hit KO, and you have Sludge Bomb to 2-hit KO it. It also is just really good into a lot of the physical attackers in this metagame. It does not really care about Garchomp too much. Garchomp is not hurting it a lot. And I haven't even looked at Basculegion yet, because Basculegion is one of those matchups where it does come down to like the last respects. As you can see, a 3x last respect is a roll to KO. If Basculegion is the final Pokemon on the field and you are bold, that's modest even. If you go bold, last respects never KOs you. You can just count this thing to always tank the last respect, and that's honestly enough defense. If you always eat that last respects, you don't one-shot it back with Giga Drain, but you can, like, I don't know, a lot of the time the Basculegion is not going to be at full health at the end of the game because you have a lot of Pokemon next to it. But if you do go modest, right? If you do go modest and you do want to invest a little bit more, or if you want to play like the roll game, then like you do get a lot more damage off with that Giga Drain. Maybe you just run like Leaf Storm at that point if you want to guarantee that matchup. But yeah, Mega Venusaur is in like a pretty decent spot in the meta right now. We have seen it a little bit as a secondary Mega, and I don't think it's bad. I think like it does really good on sand teams, in fact. So yeah. Final mono I want to talk about today is Mega Starmie. Final Pokemon I want to talk about today is Mega Starmie. I seriously underrated Mega Starmie. I did not think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to go the way of Mega Metacham, which has not been incredible in previous formats, but is actually, you know, not that bad in this format. I think the sheer power of Rain is what really keeps Mega Starmie relevant. Mega Starmie is able to do really stupid damage. I want to show you the damage that it can do to a Charizard when Sun is active. Fast offensive Mega Charizard Y, modest nature. As you can see, Liquidation has a 75% chance to one-shot Charizard in the Sun. That is with the damage halved due to Sun. Don't even get me started if Rain is active. Rain is going to KO this thing freaking 3x over. But yeah, Rain Mega Starmie is a ridiculous attacker. If we look at the damage it does into Rotom, I think that's like the best example. Rotom Wash, we'll go with like the Will-O-Wisp support set, just max HP, max special attack. When you're Liquidation in Rain, why is it doing that? Oh, that's Rotom Heat. I was like, that doesn't look right. Rotom Wash, Wisp support. When your Liquidation is 2-hit KOing Rotom Wash and Rain, at some point you just have to like think about, okay, what, like logistically speaking, what is switching in on this thing? It has a really good speed tier. It's able to outspeed the majority of Megas in this game. 120 is speed tying with Sneasler. It's speed tying with Mega Frostlass. It is among the fastest Pokemon in the game. It does get access to Aqua Jet, but in my opinion, I think the best move to run on it, I think is just Liquidation, Ice Spinner, Substitute, and Protect. I put Psycho Cut here for like calc reasons. I think it is important to know how much Psycho Cut does to certain Pokemon, but I don't like running it. Getting a Substitute off, though, puts Mega Starmie in a lot of really terrifying positions. A lot of people will face a Mega Starmie and think to themselves, I just need to survive until Tailwind's over because then I can Tailwind up and outspeed and KO it. But if on that final turn of Tailwind you decide to make a really aggressive play and on their Protect you decide to go for a Substitute, suddenly Mega Starmie is not only safe the following turn from Sucker Punch from Kingambit from faster Pokemon, but it's even able to avoid Intimidate. It is a crazy Pokemon behind a Substitute. I think it is super strong, and you can even coaching support it. I tried it. I didn't really get it off super often, but Sneasler's a really good partner for it. Mega Starmie does not want to have to deal with Kingambit. It does not like getting intimidated by Incineroar, so putting a Sneasler next to it is actually like not the worst idea. You can coaching it. It gets even more bulk. It is really strong. And that Ice Spinner is going to be KOing Mega Dragonite, I believe, through its multi-scale. Dragonite, Special Mega Rain. Yeah. Oh, not through its multi-scale, but still, 96% is getting close. If you want to run Adamant, like now you have a roll to KO it through its multi-scale. That being said, most Dragonite are not Mega. They're just running the base one. Base Dragonite, 2 HP, multi-scale. Your Ice Spinner is KOing with Adamant, and if it's Jolly, I believe it's still a roll. Yeah, roll in your favor to KO base Dragonite through multi-scale, which is more common than Mega Dragonite, I would say. Yeah, Mega Dragonite gets a little bit too much defense for that. But yeah, Mega Starmie is really good. I do want to actually look at the Kingambit calc. I want to see. Can you survive Black Glass's Sucker Punch? You would need a lot of investment to even get close. What if they're Choppleberry? I'll just put Absolite on you. Yeah, you can calc to live the Sucker Punch. That's why I think that like Substitute is so strong in it though. But in Rain, your Liquidation's doing 75% to it. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Mega Starmie, super underrated right now. A lot of Pokemon in the format do not have to deal with it. It does well into Sneasler, it does well into Garchomp, it does well into Dragonite, it does well into Incineroar, even can play into Kingambit with the right support Pokemon around it. But those are just 5 megas I think are super underrated right now. I just wanted to put out a quick video today to talk about it because I didn't feel like recording gameplay today, to be honest. It's going to take me forever to edit that sort of thing, and I am visiting my girlfriend's family. But thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you think down below about my list. Are there any of the other megas that I am really not looking at right now that you think could be powerful in the metagame? Let me know. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.